Hello everyone, my name is Marissa Redenbaugh and I'm your Juvenile Services Librarian. Today I'll be reading to you books about our theme for this week, which is sea creatures. I hope you enjoy today's books, and let's get started. The first one is called Dance, Dolphin, Dance by Patricia McCarthy. Out in the ocean, the sea is surging, swish, swoosh, swish, swoosh. And deep down below, the kelp forest gently sways. A shoal of sardines swirls and shimmers, swirls and shimmers. Playful dolphin dances with them. The sea softly rocks back and forth, while towers of kelp ripple and tug, ripple and tug. Now sea lions join in dolphins' dance. The water is getting rough, whoosh, 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 and the giant kelp twirls and twists, twirls and twists. Creatures are coming into the seaweed forest to shelter from the choppy sea outside. Some sparkling tuna join in dolphins' dance, tossing and turning, tossing and turning. The rough sea rolls and tumbles, rolls and tumbles. Ripping and pulling at the kelp, a big blue whale glides past and blocks Dolphin's dance. But Dolphin loops up and over the blue whale's back, straight into a great white shark. Whoosh! The shark attacks, but Dolphin is faster. With a puff of bubbles, he leaps away from those great white gnashing teeth. Dance, Dolphin, dance. Dance for your life. The chase is on. Quick and nimble, Dolphin loops and whoops, and dashes down to the deepest part of the kelp forest. But he can't hide there, for a killer whale is lurking in the shadows. Now Dolphin is being hunted by a great white shark and a killer whale. Zigzag, zigzag, Dolphin dances for his life in the deep, dark kelp forest. Dolphin struggles up to the surface of the ocean, splosh, splash, splosh, splash. But it is rough and wild, and huge waves crash and drag, crash and drag. Bang! A powerful wave hits the great white shark and the killer whale. Boom, 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 boom. They roll and collide. Then they turn on each other. Dolphin slips away silently and escapes. Back at the kelp forest, Dolphin finds his friends, and they dip and dive, until the sea is calm again. Then, as the sun sets, they swim up to play with the seabirds. Flip, flash, flip, flash. Dolphin is safe at last, and together all the dolphins dance for joy. And then you can go back and try to find all of these sea creatures in the book and the illustrations. I really like that book mostly for the illustrations. I think they're very beautiful. The next one is a Cat in the Hat learning book, and it's called Wish for a Fish, all about sea creatures. It's written by Bonnie Worth, illustrated by Aristides Ruiz. I'm the Cat in the Hat, and I hear that you wish to go down to the sea and to visit the fish. So please climb on board USS Undersea Glover It is made out of shark skin and very fine rubber. It will take us down deep, deep down under the sea. We will start at the top and go deep as can be. The top parts are sunny, the bottom parts black. We'll go to the bottom and then we'll come back. Sunny zone, twilight zone, dark zone, abyss. The trench at the bottom you don't want to miss. Sunny zone, sea level to 660 feet. The sunny zone is where our sea visit starts. Most of our sea life is found in these parts. The law of the sea is the same on the land. I'll call it the food chain so you'll understand. Big fish eat smaller fish, and so on until you get down to the one of the tiniest, krill. If you're wishing for fish, there are lots of them here. I see herring and mackerel swimming quite near. Fish can lay eggs, they have fins and fish tails, and most fish have bodies all covered with scales. These scales, they are coated with slippery slime. The slime keeps out germs, at least most of the time. Fish open their mouths and they let water in. That's when the gills job really starts to kick in. Gills sift through the water and pull out the air. They help the fish find all the air that is there. They really mean oxygen there. The jellyfish is a most interesting fella. He looks kind of like a transparent umbrella. Stay away from his tentacles, those long stringy things. They stun prey by giving off hundreds of stings. Of the hundreds of kinds of sharks in the sea, we only have time now to visit with 3. The 6-inch long dogfish, no, it never barks. The 50-foot whale shark, the Mack truck of sharks. And what have we here? It is called the great white for its belly, its great teeth, and great big deep bite. A shark grows its teeth in neat rows in its face. When the front row wears out, the next row takes its place. Shark bodies are made of the same kind of stuff as your ears and your nose. That's what makes them so tough. This stuff is called cartilage. It folds and it bends, and when it is torn, the cartilage mends. What else can we see in this nice sunny water? Oh, say, see the manatee and her calf daughter. Manatees are mammals like you and like me. They have lungs and give milk to their babies, you see. Another sea mammal we'll see is the whale. It's the largest of mammals we'll see, without fail. The great whale family is split into 2, toothed whales like the orca and baleen like the blue. Baleen fills the blue whale's mouth like a grill. As water flows through it, it strains out the krill. The blue whale weighs tons, maybe 90 or more. It's bigger than even a big dinosaur. These toothed whales are orcas, and few can defeat them. They like to hunt seals and to catch them and eat them. The narwhal's one tusk sticks out like a horn. It looks so much like a one-horned unicorn. All whales hold their breath when they dive down below, and when they come up, let it out with the blow. Before we go deeper, let's all wave hello to our mammal pals, dolphins. That's one of them below. A dolphin can see in the night, wonder why? Echolocation. It works like an eye. It sends out a click and the click bounces back, and the sound of that click helps the dolphin keep track of where it is going and which fish is where and whether some foe like a shark might be there. Shake hands with the octopus. Isn't it great? With arm after arm just for hugging. Yikes! 8! Dear Dick and sweet Jane, tell me, what would you think if I told you the octopus shoots out a dark ink? It squirts out the ink in some enemy's face and then swims away to a much safer place. The twilight zone, 660 to 3,300 feet. Of all of the fights that are fought in the sea, there's one that is biggest, if you're asking me. Do I hear you asking? I'm so glad you did. It's a sperm whale versus a giant squid. Like all whales, the sperm whale must come up for air, but this one can dive and then stay way down there for 2 hours or more at 3,000 feet shopping for giant squid to eat. Dark zone, 3,300 to 13,200 feet. Get out your flashlights. It's dark way down here, and the fish are beginning to look very queer. The gigantura and the big-mouth eel, the whip-nose, which comes with its own rod and reel. Down here it is always as black as the night, so many fish here have to use their very own light. They use it to locate a mate or some prey. Food hunting is hard like this, day after day. Abyss, 13,200 to 19,800 feet. You won't find many creatures in this deep, cold sea. Sea cucumber, sea spider, and tripod are 3. The abyss has a carpet of thick, yucky muck. Animals have legs so they will not get stuck. Trench, 19,800 feet and deeper. Before we go up, it is really a must that you visit the vents, which are cracks in the Earth's crust. It is up through these vents that the hot waters spout and warm up these clams and these worms hereabout. Giant clams and tube worms have enough things to eat because this deep spot has unusual heat. Oh, say, can you see by my undersea clock? It is time the fair Glubber got back to the dock. And now that our trip below sea is all done, I will bet that you too have a wish for some sun. That was a good one, wasn't it? Then beyond here, because this is a true book, so it's nonfiction, we have some information about if you'd rather keep reading and some terms you may not know. The next one we'll be reading is called A House for Hermit Crab, and it's by Eric Carle. Time to move, said Hermit Crab one day in January. I've grown too big for this little shell. He had felt safe and snug in his shell, but now it was too snug. Hermit Crab stepped out of the shell and onto the floor of the ocean. But it was frightening out in the open sea without a shell to hide in. What if a big fish comes along and attacks me? He asked. I must find a new house soon. Early in February, Hermit Crab found just the house he was looking for. It was a big shell and strong. He moved right in, wiggling and waggling about inside it to see how it felt. It felt just right. But it looked so, well, so plain, thought Hermit Crab. In March, Hermit Crab met some sea anemones. They swayed gently back and forth in the water. How beautiful you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to come and live on my house? It is so plain it needs you. I'll come, whispered a small sea anemone. Gently, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and put it on his shell. In April, Hermit Crab passed a flock of starfish moving slowly along the seafloor. How handsome you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to decorate my house? I would, signaled a little sea star. Carefully, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and put it on his house. In May, Hermit Crab discovered some coral. They were hard and didn't move. How pretty you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to help make my house more beautiful? I would, creaked a crusty coral. Gingerly, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it on his shell. In June, Hermit Crab came to a group of snails crawling over a rock on the ocean floor. They grazed as they went, picking up algae and bits of debris and leaving a neat path behind them. Would one of you be willing to come and help and clean my house? I would, offered one of the snails. Happily, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it on his shell. In July, Hermit Crab came upon several sea urchins. They had sharp, prickly needles. How fierce you look, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to protect my house? I would, answered a spiky sea urchin. Gratefully, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it near the shell. In August, Hermit Crab and his friends wandered into a forest of seaweed. It's so dark here, thought Hermit Crab. How dim it is, murmured the sea anemone. How gloomy it is, whispered the starfish. How murky it is, complained the coral. I can't see, said the snail. It's like nighttime, cried the sea urchin. In September, Hermit Crab spotted a school of lanternfish darting through the dark water. How bright you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to light up our house? I would, replied one lanternfish, and it swam over near the shell. In October, Hermit Crab approached a pile of smooth pebbles. How sturdy you are, said Hermit Crab. Would you mind if I rearranged you? Not at all, answered the pebbles. Hermit Crab picked them up one by one with his claw and built a wall around his shell. Now my house is perfect, cried Hermit Crab. But in November, Hermit Crab felt that his shell seemed a bit too small. Little by little over the year, Hermit Crab had grown. Soon he would have to find another, bigger home. But he had come to love his friends, the sea anemone, the starfish, the coral, the sea urchin, the snail, the lanternfish, and even the smooth pebbles. They have been so good to me, thought Hermit Crab. They are like a family. How could I ever leave them? In December, a smaller hermit crab passed by. I have outgrown my shell, she said. Would you know of a place for me? I have outgrown my house, too, answered Hermit Crab. I must move on. You are welcome to live here, but you must promise to be good to my friends. I promise, said the little crab. The following January, Hermit Crab stepped out and the little crab moved in. Couldn't stay in that little shell forever, said Hermit Crab as he waved goodbye. The ocean floor looked wider than he had remembered, but Hermit Crab wasn't afraid. Soon he spied the perfect house, a big, empty shell. It looked, well, a little plain, but sponges, he thought. Barnacles, clownfish, sand dollars, electric eels. Oh, there are so many possibilities. I can't wait to get started. The end. I think that's a fun when he gets to see more about what his home is and what it means. Now this next one I want to show you, I'm not going to read the entire thing because it's a little tedious for a story time, but this one is true, so it's nonfiction, and I just wanted to show you a little bit about the layout of the book. It's called I See Seafood, Sea Creatures That Look Like Food by Jenna Grodzicki. Okay, let's see. Pineapples, pancakes, and chocolate chip cookies are tasty treats. But did you know they all live in the ocean? That can't be true. Or is it? These sea creatures aren't your normal seafood. These weird and wonderful names look a lot like the foods we know and love. But each of their appetizing appearance isn't just for fun. Each animal has reasons for having features that happen to look like their tasty twins. An Australian pineapple fish swims slowly through the coral reef. The armored scales of the Australian pineapple fish look a lot like the outside of the tropical fruit. Of course, the fish is not related to pineapples at all, but those sharp and spiky scales called scutes help protect it from predators. An egg yolk jellyfish drifts along with the tide. Sunny side up. The delicate bell of the egg yolk jellyfish looks like a freshly cracked egg in the water. The egg yolk jelly dines on other jellyfish and it takes on the color of its prey. If the bell is white and yellow, the egg yolk jellyfish has been munching on moon jellies. But if it's much orange in appearance, you can bet it's been feeding on sea nettles. A constellation of chocolate chip sea stars spreads out across the ocean floor. Dark brown pointy horns that look like chocolate chips cover the chocolate chip sea star, but those horns aren't there to remind us of freshly baked cookies. They'll act like armor to prevent hungry fish from taking a bite. A banana wrasse swims in and out of the nooks and crannies of the reef. A wrasse is a type of fish with thick lips and strong teeth. You might mistake this creature for a banana that's ripe for the peeling, but it's not a fruit at all. All female banana wrasses have banana-colored scales. The males are rainbow-colored. The difference in coloring makes it easier for banana wrasses to find mates. A lettuce sea slug creeps along the coral. All you can eat salad bar. The lettuce sea slug's ruffled leaves, or parapodia, look a lot like the lettuce it's named after. The sea slug has a unique way of eating. First, it dines on algae. Then the lettuce sea slug uses a tiny part of the algae called the chloroplast to form photosynthesis. The chloroplasts are stored inside the parapodia. They capture sunlight and use the light to make sugar. The sugar then helps to feed the sea slug. The chloroplasts also give the sea slug its green hue. A Louisiana pancake batfish swims near the bottom of the ocean. The Louisiana pancake batfish is small, round, and flat, just like a pancake. Its skin is bumpy and looks like a pancake that was left sitting out for too long. The pancake-like shape and coloring of this fish provide camouflage. The Louisiana pancake batfish lies on the ocean floor to hide from predators. A sea apple perches on the coral reef. The colorful sea apple is not a fruit at all. It's a type of animal known as a sea cucumber. Sea cucumbers were oval-shaped ocean animals with tough, spiny, bumpy skin. The sea apple is shaped like an oval most of the time, but when it senses danger, it sucks in a large amount of water. This causes the sea apple's body to inflate into a round shape and quickly floats away. The cauliflower jellyfish swims through the open ocean with its long filaments trailing behind. The cauliflower jellyfish may remind you to eat your vegetables. It has largely curly arms that look like the cauliflower on your dinner plate. Without these arms, the cauliflower jellyfish will go hungry. The arms collect tiny animals from the water. Then the cauliflower jellyfish sends the food up into its 4 stomachs. Pizza crust sea slug. If you saw this creature, you might think someone dropped a piece of pizza on the ocean floor, but really, it's a sea slug. The pizza crust sea slug is covered in small round bumps called tubercules. These tubercules look a lot like bits of cheese and pepperoni. Scientists believe its coloring and shape could help the pizza crust sea slug blend into its environment. It's kind of a mouthful. Thousands of creatures of all shapes and sizes live in the world's oceans. Scientists believe that there are many more out there that have yet to be discovered. But when it comes to ocean animals, sharks, dolphins, whales, and sea turtles get most of the attention. The weird and wonderful sea creatures deserve some love too. Maybe this list of seafood lookalikes will continue to grow. The next discovery could be yours. All right. We have one last book today before Miss Racheal comes on and does the crafts for you. This is called Deep in the Ocean. Something is happening up there on the surface. Splash! What's that? It certainly frightens the sardines. The dolphins are curious, but no one else is bothered. The albatrosses dive, the tuna dash, the sperm whale is about to eat dinner, and the swordfish wants to interrupt a perfect school of mackerel. But what is this funny machine doing in the water? And what is it? It's a submarine. It came down to see what happens under the sea. A giant squid swims through the seaweed when the cuttlefish and the octopus hide. Just by the deep sea trench, the little submarine turns on its light, much to the surprise of the moray eel and sunfish. Deep in the abyss, the creatures are not afraid of the submarine. The lanternfish is already lit. The jellyfish and sea butterflies sparkle, while the vampire squid watches with its glowing eyes. Suddenly, the sea begins to rumble and roar. Here comes a terrible storm. The submarine tumbles through spinning whirlpools until it settles in polar waters and is welcomed by the beluga whales. The sea lions play among the creaking and squeaking icebergs while the seabirds dive and dive. The narwhals pierce the sea with their tusks, and the orca whales go hunting. They don't even notice the submarine. Just then, a gentle song rises. It is the voice of a blue whale, as graceful as she is big. She pulls the submarine along until it is in the warm sea. The whale shark glides over the coral where all the tropical fish live. How beautiful! The anemone protected the clownfish. The leopard whip rays dip and swirl, while the marina turtles play hide and seek. What a paradise! Is this the end of the submarine's journey? Or just the beginning? Okay, I hope you enjoyed today's books about sea creatures, and I will see you next time. Up next is Racheal to show you how to do the craft this week.
Hi friends, I hope you enjoyed all the stories about sea creatures. This week we have two options for your crafts. The curbside craft, we will be making a straw and pipe cleaner seahorse. So the first thing, you'll get a green rectangle of paper. So what I did was I folded the rectangle of paper in half, and then I cut out a circle so that I would have two circles of the same size. And then I first glued one of the circles to the piece of paper, so you'll get a blue paper as well. And then I put his little nose, just one straw piece, you can choose whichever straw piece you want. I put that glued on top of the first circle, and then I glued my other straws on before I glued this green piece on. So for the back of his head, I went ahead before I glued these straw pieces down, I cut little slits all around the top of the straw so that it would look like that. And then also before I glued this green piece on, I also glued down the pipe cleaner. And then to give it a 3D effect, that's why you put the other green circle on top of this straw and these straws on the pipe cleaner. So then you'll do that last and then put the googly eye on. And then once you've got your pipe cleaner and everything all glued down, well, you don't glue this part of your pipe cleaner, but the top, then you're going to take the straw pieces. You'll get a bunch of straw pieces of different sizes and different colors, so it's up to you what pattern of colors you want, or if you just want to do random colors, or if you don't like the size of the straws, you can cut them. So I just slid each of the pieces onto the pipe cleaner, and then as I got further down, like on a seahorse's tail, it looks kind of like this. So I used the bendy pieces of the straw. So for this part, I just used the smooth pieces because you'll get smooth and bendy. And then as I got further down, I used the bendy pieces, which again might be kind of big, so you can cut those. And then it looks like his little tail. So that's your curbside craft. And then your printable craft is super simple. We're making a jellyfish. So you'll just color everything and then cut this out and then cut out each of his tentacles. And then before I glued these down, I folded them into an accordion fold like we do a lot of times with these crafts. Do that, fold it back, forth, and then I let it go. And then I glue it on. Or you can glue it on and then do the accordion fold. And then it looks like he has little wavy legs. So those are your 2 crafts for the sea creatures. I hope you enjoyed the stories and the crafts, and we'll see you next time.